Today, we have the privilege of exploring the extraordinary legacy of Wayne Huizenga, one of America's most remarkable entrepreneurs. Wayne Huizenga built not just one, but three Fortune 500 companies from the ground up, a feat unmatched in American business history. He transformed waste management from a single garbage truck into the largest waste disposal company in the world. He took a blockbuster video from a small chain to over 3,700 stores worldwide before selling to Viacom for 8.4 billion. And with AutoNation, he revolutionized the car dealership industry, creating America's largest automotive retailer. Beyond these giants, Wayne business touch extended to the sports world, where he became the first person to own three major sports franchises simultaneously: the Miami Dolphins, Florida Marlins, and Florida Panthers. Under his ownership, the Marlins won the World Series in just their fifth year of existence. From humble beginnings, driving a garbage truck, to becoming a billionaire, Wayne's journey embodied the American dream. His relentless work ethic, remarkable vision, and ability to scale businesses made him a true titan of industry. Today, I'll be sharing the top 10 business lessons that Wayne used and his mental models to grow his empire. These are the same strategies and mental models that Wayne leveraged to build multi-billion-dollar companies from scratch. Apply these principles in your own business ventures. If you're a CEO, if you're an VC, if you're an executive, if you're a leader, these strategies and mental models will be helpful for you. I guarantee you that. And you'll be following the blueprint of one of history's most successful entrepreneurs. And first, I'm going to be going over his business strategies. And in those business strategies, I'm going to be talking about how Wayne applied it in his business. And then I'm going to be covering how you can apply it for your business. And in the second part of I'm going to be covering the mental models where Wayne uses his decision-making framework, whether it's brand building, what's his take on hiring, what's his take on leadership, how would he approach leverage, debt, how would he approach his principles, his customer, his service, his product. So I'm going to be going over that. But first, let's start up with the 10 business strategies that Wayne Huizenga used. And the first one is he is the roll up king, which is the roll up mastery. So Wayne Huizenga perfected the art of industry consolidation through systematic acquisitions. Starting with a single garbage truck at age 25, he rapidly expanded by acquiring rival companies throughout Broward County, which is in Florida, until he owned 40 trucks and dominated the local market. This approach reached its pinnacle during his time building Waste Management, where during one stretch in 1972, he traveled across the United States acquiring 90 separate hauling businesses in just 9 months. He later replicated the strategy with Blockbuster Video, systematically buying mom and pop video stores and integrating them into a cohesive national brand. So how does this apply to you? Well, identify fragmented markets, cottage industry. In your industry where consolidation could create economies of scale, start by acquiring a partner or partnering with a smaller complementary businesses that enhances your core offering. Develop a systematic integration playbook that preserves the works in acquired businesses while implementing consistent standards. Focus on speed and efficiency in the acquisition process, following Huizenga's model of moving quickly to consolidate before competitors recognize the opportunity. So there's a lot of information there. If you want to grow fast, all these big companies, all these large organizations, they acquire business. Depending on what market you are, but majority of the time, it's easier to buy revenue rather than to create it. And Wayne was the master of this. He did it in multiple industries. He saw fragmented industries. He did a roll up. He's a roll up. He mastered roll up. And roll ups, there's lots of moving pieces in roll up. You have to have the right team. Execution has to be, nothing as smoothly as possible. And you have to have the right vision. Next, the customer multiplier principle. What does that mean? Well, Huizenga possessed deep insight into the exponential impact of customer experiences, stating, one unhappy customer will tell 10 people, then you'll have 11 unhappy customers. This philosophy guided his approach at Blockbuster, where he transformed video rental stores from establishments often associated with adult content in back rooms into family-friendly environments that appealed to a much broader customer base. By focusing on creating positive customer experiences, he built businesses with loyal customer bases that drove word-of-mouth growth. Now, how does this apply to you? Well, implement systems to identify and address customer concerns before they multiply. Create feedback mechanisms that catch issues early and develop a rapid response approach to customer complaints. Analyze each customer's touch point for potential negative experiences and redesign them. Most importantly, quantify a lifetime value of a customer, including the referral potential, which will justify greater investment in customer experience. It's all about customer. Obsess over customer. This is how Amazon built a great business. This is how Costco built a great business, because there is when people refer, when word of mouth, there's a lot of weight and volume to that. So make sure that your customers are taken care of. Hold on, take a sip. All right, so number 3, industry transformative architecture. What does that mean? Well, Wayne Huizenga gained control of Blockbuster. The video rental industry was fragmented and often had questionable image. Recognizing untapped potential, he systematically transformed the industry by eliminating adult content from stores and creating consistent, family-oriented brand experience across locations. This complete reimagining of what video rental stores could help him build Blockbuster from a $7 million investment into a $8 billion enterprise by the time he sold it to Viacom in 1994. That is an amazing ROI. Okay, so how does this apply to you? Well, examine established industries through a fresh lens, looking for aspects that could be fundamentally improved or imagined. Identify negative associations or pain points in your industry that create opportunities for repositioning. Develop a systematic plan to transform not just your business, but potentially the entire industry's approach. Like Wayne Huizenga did with Blockbuster, consider how changing key aspects of the customer experience might unlock entirely a new market segments. One of my mentor, what he likes to do is when he does a roll up, he likes to bring in new people that haven't been working in the industry, because just for this exact reason, there's a fresh lens. Okay, there's fresh lens, different perspective, different experience, and it breaks the current industry behavior. And this and what Wayne Huizenga did, he pivoted and he changed the brand experience for the mom and pop stores that he was buying. He made it more family friendly. So use this. It's one. All of these are going to be in your arsenal, right? Depending on what you're currently doing and how big your business is, then some of these might be applicable to what you're doing, applicable to what you're doing. So it's very important that you have to listen to these strategies over and over again, because at a different stage of your life, lesson number 3 might not apply to you, but lesson number 2 will. And then later on, a couple years, a couple months later, same thing. Lesson number 7 might apply to you, but not lesson 2 anymore. So, all right. So let's go to the next one. And the next strategy is called the exit timing algorithm. Huizenga demonstrated exceptional skill in knowing precisely when to exit a business or businesses. When asked how he determined the right time to sell, okay, pay attention to this. When asked how he determined the right time to sell, he explained, when you get an offer that's beyond your expectation, that's number 1. Obviously, there's a rule in the business. You can get blank times cash flow or blank times EBITDA. When you get higher than the rule of thumb, then it's time to sell. Play that back. If you're looking to exit a business, some of the listeners that I have, and the audience that I have, and the followers that I have, they've built large businesses and looking to exit, but they don't know when is the time to exit. So take it from Wayne Huizenga's approach. Write that, go back, listen to that, write it down, and this will give you a roadmap on when it's time to sell. This disciplined approach helped him maximize returns, as when he grew Blockbuster from 7 million to over 8 billion. So develop a clear objective criteria for when to exit investments, projects, businesses before emotional attachments clouds judgment. And that's the problem. Emotional attachment will cloud judgment. So establish specific metrics like Huizenga's multiple of EBITDA that signals when to move on. Conduct regular evaluations of your venture against these pre-established criteria. Set beyond expectation thresholds for different types of investments or initiatives, and commit to exiting when those thresholds are reached, avoiding the common trap of holding on too long. So, next, lesson number 5, remote leadership mastery. As Huizenga built a waste management into a global company, he had to develop effective methods for leading teams across vast distances. He explained, in the early days when he started waste management and we were operating all around United States, and then we were operating around the world, I learned because I had to learn. I learned how to deal through people over the telephone many miles apart, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but finally he learned how to hire right people to make things happen, where you can communicate with that person over the telephone and not have to have them in the same office as you. Well, how does this apply to you? Develop a systems for effective remote management by focusing on results rather than activities. Create clear communication protocols with appropriate frequency and detail. Invest time in hiring motivated individuals who thrive with autonomy but maintain accountability. Establish objective performance metrics that can be monitored remotely, and create opportunities for relationship building despite physical distances. Apply Huizenga's focus on finding the right people who can be trusted to execute without constant supervision. This is the most important part. Okay? And this is what great leaders do. Hire people who are self-motivated, who thrive with autonomy, but also maintain accountability. Jim from Renaissance Technologies does the same thing also. He talked about it multiple times. He said self-motivated individuals who thrive with autonomy and maintain accountability. Okay, lesson number 6. If you are finding value in this, subscribe. You see there? Subscribe. Look it on the screen. Subscribe. Okay, lesson number 6, the relentless work capacity edge. Well, when asked about his primary competitive advantage, okay, this is something that you have to imprint in your brain, because this is his competitive advantage. And there's every business owner, every leader, they all have a competitive advantage. But this is Wayne's competitive advantage. When asked about his primary competitive advantage, Huizenga simply cited the willingness to work harder than his competition. Let me repeat that again. The willingness to work harder than his competition. This extraordinary work ethic manifested in practical ways in the 1950s. Friends noted that Huizenga was different when he installed a phone in his bathroom to continue working even there. His acquisition spree at Waste Management demonstrated that his relentless pace, completing 90 acquisitions in just 9 months. Okay, hold on. 90 acquisitions in 9 months. That is insane. You have to, the deal flow, working with legal, working with accountants, working with a team, working with merging the companies. Like, one acquisition takes already a lot of time. Now imagine 90 acquisitions in 9 months. All right. In 9 months, while personally traveling to each location, this capacity for sustained high intensity work became a fundamental differentiator throughout his career. Systematically increase your productive capacity through deliberate practice and elimination of time wasting activities. Identify your most productive hours and protect them for high value work. Create systems that allow you to maximize efficiency and extend your working capacity beyond competitors. However, also note Huizenga's acknowledgement of the personal cost. His marriage ended in divorce. He expressed regrets about missing his children's formative years. Designed a sustainable approach to outworking competitors without sacrificing critical relationship. There's no such thing as work-life balance. There's only work-life choices and work-life consequences. I'm going to say that again. There's no such thing in this world. There's no such thing as work-life balance. There's only work-life choices and work-life consequences. Now, his relationship suffered because of his action and his commitment to building a great organization. And that was the sacrifice he was willing to make. Now, for you, what sacrifices are you willing to make? Are you willing to go that far? Some people will say no, some people will say yes. And it's just a matter of the commitment level. Next, the people first acquisition model. So what does that mean? Huizenga developed a distinctive approach to acquisitions. Move in quickly, pay with stock rather than borrowed cash, and retain key management personnel. I'm going to say that again. Move in quickly, pay with stock rather than borrowed cash, and retain key management personnel. This strategy proved particularly effective as he built his companies. His philosophy was clear. We want people to join our team, not just sell us a company. We want people to join our team, not just sell our company. All right. By retaining leadership teams after acquisitions, he preserved the local knowledge, relationships, and operational expertise that made his businesses valuable. This approach allowed for rapid scaling while maintaining quality and customer relationship. You know who else did this? John D. Rockefeller. Okay. This is his playbook when it came to acquisition. See, once you start looking at the titans, the dynasty designers, the empire builders, they all have a similar playbook. Use these playbook. This is something that you have to write down and constantly remind yourself and visit. That these strategies, if you want to build a great organization, these strategies is what you have to apply. Now, how does the people first acquisition model apply to you? Well, integrating new teams or acquisition Prioritize retaining key talent and institutional knowledge. Create integration plans that respect existing culture while aligning with your overall vision. Consider using equity of ownership incentives to align long-term interests rather than simply paying cash. Following Huizenga's preference for stock-based acquisition, develop a clear value proposition for why joining your team offers great opportunity than remaining independent. Jim from Renaissance Technology said, "Make pay everybody well and make them a partner." So this is what Wayne did. Gave them stock options. Okay. All right. Next one is number 8, recurring revenue focus. Huizenga had specific criteria for business as he targeted, focusing on service industries with repeat business and growing industries. This principle guided his major ventures: waste management, regular garbage collection, video rentals, repeat customers, and auto dealership ongoing service relationship. By focusing on businesses with recurring revenues, he built stable companies with predictable cash flows and opportunities for continuous customer relationship. And that's the business that I also like to get involved in. I like to buy businesses that have recurring revenue. It could be in a service-based product. It could be service-based SaaS space, but he was definitely ahead of his time. He saw the power of cash flow, predictable cash flow, and he wanted to get businesses and buy businesses that have predictable cash flow. So how does this apply to you? Well, evaluate your business or career opportunities through the lens of recurring relationships versus one-time transactions. Look for ways to transform transactional business model into ongoing service relationship with predictable revenue streams. Develop systems that encourage repeat business and provide multiple touch points with customers. Apply Huizenga's criteria to your own ventures by prioritizing opportunities in service industries with repeat business potential. You know what? I'm going to, for the first 5 people, if you have a business, if you're an executive, if you're a leader, if you have a holding company, I will give a free business analysis on how you can take one of your product or service and make that a recurring revenue. Just because, but first you need to subscribe and then comment down below. Type in recurring. First 5 people to do that, I will give you a business analysis and show you how you can turn some of your products and service into recurring revenue, because predictable cash flow will transform your business. Number 9, innovation-driven entrepreneurship. Despite his analytical business approach, Huizenga placed significant value on innovation. An important part of being an entrepreneur is a gut instinct that allows you to believe in your heart that something will work even though everyone else says it will not. He further explained, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's not all textbook. It's gut feeling. It's intuition. It's a feeling that you have that you can do this and make it happen. This trusting instinct was evident when his partner John Melk tried to convince him to invest in video stores. Despite initial resistance, Huizenga's gut eventually told him to proceed with what became Blockbuster. So, develop a intuitive capabilities by making small, intuitive decisions, tracking outcomes, refine your business instinct, and you can't really, it's just a gut feel. It's hard to explain. This is a feeling that only you will have, and trusting your gut. And this is what Wayne did. He trusted his gut and it paid off. So remember what Huizenga's insight is. There is a certain time in every deal where you have to trust your gut instincts. Identify these critical moments when analysis has reached its limits and intuition must guide the final decision. Number 10, okay, last one for business strategies, and then we're going to go over his mental models. Accountability through absolute commitment. Huizenga lived in a strict code of personal accountability, stating simply, if you say you're going to do something, be darn sure you do it. This philosophy of absolute commitment extended to how he approached negotiations and business dealings. When working to convince a reluctant business owner to sell, Huizenga's direct approach was unwavering. I'm not leaving until you say yes. This commitment to following through on intentions created trust with business partners and established his reputation for reliability. 1. He does what he says. He has integrity. He was honest. And number 2, he is a good negotiator. So how does this apply to you? Well, develop a personal system for tracking commitments and ensuring follow through on everything you promise. Before making any commitment, consider carefully whether you can deliver with excellence. Create accountability mechanisms that reinforce your reputation for reliability. Apply Huizenga's approach to negotiations by clearly determining your priorities in advance and maintaining unwavering commitment to achieving them. Recognize that your track record of keeping commitments become a significant business asset over time. Let me say that again, because this is very important, just in case it went over your head. Recognize that your track record of keeping commitments becomes a significant business asset over time. A significant business asset over time. And I was reading this book, and it was about Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And they said that because they had a good reputation, people were giving them deal flow, even though they haven't met the owners. And that is the power of integrity. That is the power of honesty. And that is the power of commitment and having a good track record. All right. So now I'm going to be going over his mental models, how he approached branding, positioning, scaling, decision-making framework, his cultural long-term vision, and so much more. All right, so the first one, how does he approach his core principles and values? Huizenga's core values revolve around hard work, customer satisfaction, and integrity. He believed that treating customers well was essential for long-term success. At Waste Management, he introduced a customer satisfaction program that rewarded employees for exceeding expectation, showing his obsession with service quality. In a recorded interview, he said, "You have to be honest with your customers, your employees, and yourself," highlighting his commitment to integrity. He applied this by building trust with stakeholders, which was critical when scaling businesses like Blockbuster and AutoNation. All right. Hiring. How did he approach hiring? Huizenga focused on hiring people smarter than himself and empowering them. At Blockbuster, he used a rigorous hiring process with multiple interviews and personality assessment to ensure cultural fit. He once stated in a speech, "Surround yourself with people who are better than you and you can't help but succeed." Let me say that again. Surround yourself with people who are better than you and you can't help but succeed. And I see a lot of people limiting their growth because of that. Well, to recruit and retain talent, he offered competitive pay and growth opportunities, often promoting from within. This approach fostered loyalty and innovation across his companies. It's one factor. You got to have a strategy to recruit talent, and it's another strategy to retain talent. What is his decision-making framework? Huizenga blended data-driven analysis with intuition for decision-making. that gut feeling that we were talking about earlier. At AutoNation, he relied on data analytics to pinpoint underperforming dealerships and devise turnaround strategies. Yet, he also trusted his instincts, as seen when he entered the video rental market with Blockbuster, sensing its untapped potential. He weighed risk by diversifying his investment across industries like waste management and automotive retail, ensuring he wasn't overly exposed to one sector's volatility. Key mistakes. One major or failures on how he pivoted. One major failure was Huizenga's investment in People Express, an airline that collapsed in the 1980s. He pivoted by shifting focus to industries with stable cash flow, like waste management. After another challenge was Blockbuster's struggles during the dot-com bubble as digital competitors emerged. He addressed this by selling Blockbuster to Viacom in 1994 for 8.4 billion, exiting it at its peak. These pivots showed his ability to learn from setbacks and then adjust his strategy. And the business lessons that I talked about earlier, I we talked about how to sell the business when it's at its peak. All right, let me get some water. My throat. All right, I'm back. All right, industry context. Huizenga thrived by exploiting underserved markets. In waste management, he saw fragmented industry consolidated small haulers to form waste management. Blockbuster, he capitalized on the rising demand for home video entertainment, outpacing small local competitors. In automotive retail, he tackled inefficiencies in car dealerships with AutoNation, aligning trends towards streamlined consumer experiences. His success came from reading market shifts and acting decisively. What is Wayne's leadership style? Huizenga leadership was hands on and risk tolerant. In wage management early days, he worked side along employees, setting one tone of dedication. He used centralized management structure, empowering regional managers to make decisions, which built accountability. His ability to inspire loyalty was evident as many team members followed him across ventures. He motivated teams by leading through action and fostering a culture of ownership. Innovation tactics. Huizenga identified emerging trends and scaled solutions quickly. At Blockbuster, he pioneered the superstore concept, larger stores with vast video selections, testing in select markets before nationwide rollout. He applied a similar approach at AutoNation, piloting new sales strategies regionally. His process involved spotting opportunities, testing locally, and scaling fast once proven, ensuring innovation met customer needs efficiently. What is his financial strategy when it comes to funding, cash flow management, and profitability? Huizenga managed finance with discipline. At Waste Management, he used strict budgeting and forecasting to weather economic downturns. He often funded growth through stock rather than debt. As seen in Blockbuster's expansion, while profitability mattered, he reinvested heavily in growth, such as acquiring dealership for AutoNation. This balanced approach kept cash flow strong while fueling rapid scaling. Partnership and networking. Huizenga leveraged relationship masterfully. At AutoNation, he secured exclusive distribution rights through partnership with major automakers. His deal-making network of investors and partners helped him spot opportunities and raise capital fast. In a speech, he emphasized negotiation skills, saying, "You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate." These alliances were key to scaling his ventures. What is the scaling mechanics? Well, Huizenga scaled through acquisitions and franchising. At Waste Management, he bought over 100 small haulers to create a national network. Blockbuster grew from 19 stores to over 3,700 in a decade via franchise model, which he later adapted for AutoNation by acquiring dealerships nationwide. His strategy was to consolidate fragmented markets quickly, building enterprises from small foundations. What is his take on branding and positioning? Huizenga crafted strong brands with clear messaging. Waste Management's national ad campaign positioned it as industry leader. Blockbuster make it a blockbuster night. Slogan, okay, emphasized convenience and selection, setting apart from local rivals. AutoNation's no haggle pricing differentiated from traditional dealership, appealing to frustrated buyers. He focused on unique selling points that resonated with customers. Customer acquisition retention. Huizenga used promotions and services to win and keep customers. The blockbusters rent one, get one free deal drove repeat business. While loyalty programs and feedback loops improve offerings, at Waste Management he secured long-term commercial contracts with exceptional services. These tactics, paired with consistent quality, built customer loyalty across his business. Crisis management. How did he handle setbacks? Okay. Huizenga navigated crises with pragmatism. During the 2008 financial crisis, he shifted AutoNation's focus to used cars and repairs, sectors less hit by the recession. He cut costs by reducing overhead and renegotiating contracts. Maintaining profitability, his proactive adjustments ensured his company survived in economic downturns without major scandals. I'm going to take a quick sip. All right. Adaptability. Huizenga adapted swiftly to market changes. When digital competitors threatened Blockbuster, he sold it at its peak during 2008 recession. He pivoted AutoNations to used cars and financing. His willingness to exit or reorient business, like shifting from waste hauling to a broader service model at Waste Management. This kept him ahead of shifts. Resource allocation. Huizenga allocated resource based on the growth potential. At Waste Management, he invested in high growth regions and new equipment. He prioritized talent by moving top performers to struggling units and delegated daily operations to focus on strategy. His time management reflected a balance between hands on involvement and big picture planning. Cultural impact. Huizenga fostered ownership and accountability in his companies. At Waste Management, he encouraged employees to treat the business as theirs. Boosting morale, his focus on customer services and efficiencies set new standards in waste management and video rental. His influence created cultures of excellence that outlasted his direct involvement. Long-term vision. Huizenga balanced immediate gains with future planning. At Blockbuster, he pursued a 5-year growth plan while exploring video on demand. He built businesses like Waste Management and AutoNation with succession in mind, ensuring they thrive post-exit. His vision combined rapid expansion with structures for lasting impact. Ethical dilemmas. Huizenga prioritized transparency and compliance. At Waste Management, he reinforced strict environmental regulatory policies even when costly. In interviews, he stressed doing businesses ethically, saying shortcuts don't last. Okay, shortcuts don't last. Remember that. He navigated grass areas by sticking to principles, avoiding scandals that could harm his reputation or companies. Personal habits. Well, Huizenga was disciplined and driven. He rose early, often starting before dawn, and worked long hours. He stayed hands-on, visiting operations to grasp challenges firsthand. His mindset, rooted in relentless work ethic and continuous improvement, fueled his adaptability to build and manage multiple empires. Okay. And technology adoption. Huizenga embraced technology to enhance operations. At AutoNation, he launched an online car buying platform, adapting to e-commerce trends. At Waste Management, he invested in an automated sorting system to boost efficiency. He adopted tools and improved customer experience or cut costs, staying ahead in competitive industries. Legacy or exit strategy. Huizenga's exit strategy involved selling at peak value. He sold a Blockbuster for Viacom for $8.4 billion in 1994 and AutoNation to a private equity firm in 2017. He planned succession by building strong leadership teams, ensuring continuity. His legacy, transforming industries and mentoring entrepreneurs, stems from strategic exits and durable business models. So, That's the last one. I hope, I definitely think, and I know that you found value in this podcast, this episode about Wayne Huizenga. And he's an incredible entrepreneur, incredible work ethic, has a lot of great lessons in this podcast. And if you found value, I want you to share this on X, share this on your social media platforms. Let's spread the word about great businessmen. Let's adopt their strategies. Let's apply it in our business. And these mental strategies are timeless. They are timeless. If John D. Rockefeller talked about similar strategies, Wayne Huizenga applied those strategies in his businesses, and 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, these strategies are still applicable. So I hope you found value in what you listened to. And if you haven't already, subscribe, and stay tuned for my next podcast.